was just talking to a friend the other day, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I just met this guy, and he called me the other day. He was like, oh, his car was down. Could he use my car to work?" I said, "That's not a man."
That's right.
I said, because a real man gonna figure out how to get there without your car.
Done.
He gonna figure out if he gotta take the bus, ride a bike, take an Uber, fix the car himself.
Yep.
She was like, "Oh, Reverend Deborah, I didn't think about that." I said, "A man's gonna handle his business."
When times get tough, you need to get down. No need to look backward, put your feet on the ground. Stand up, stand up.
Welcome to the TheFallenState. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Click the Patreon link in the description to support our work, all right? So thank you very much. I have with me today Pastor Deborah Manns, and she is the senior pastor of Ruach Christian Community Fellowship Church in Los Angeles, California. And she's also the founder and CEO of Virtuous Woman Inc. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me today,
I
Jesse.
totally appreciate it.
Thank you.
How have you been dealing with all this Chinese virus situation?
Well, it's been a lot. It's been very, very interesting. The COVID-19 has affected the Black church in a huge way. It's just, no day is the same, literally.
It's amazing, huh?
Yes, no day is the same.
So you had to make some serious adjustments, huh?
Well, we had to make a lot of adjustments. For us, we're a small church. We are not considered a mega church.
Right.
So a lot of my members are seasoned. I have a lot of older members who are having a very difficult time adjusting with the
Right.
virtual sermons, the virtual meetings. And when the governor had shut the churches completely, my membership just almost dropped a lot versus a lot of the new members that joined. Since I've only been the senior pastor. I was appointed to the church a year and 4 months now. So the newer members are younger, so they had no problem with the virtual. And then a lot of my mid-age retirees, but my older members, they struggle with it very much because they really like that one-on-one fellowship, being able to come and see one another at church. So once some of the restrictions were released where you can have smaller groups, like 8 to 10, right now I have like 6 members that come on Sunday, and then all the rest of the members, like 70, they do virtual.
Amazing.
So it's been hard. Even with a lot of my pastor friends that some of them have mega churches or smaller, larger churches, we have this conversation about like, I don't want to pastor no more. I don't want to do this anymore because it just seems so, it seems like the spiritualness of the church is leaving, because a lot of my pastor friends are pre-recording. They're like, "Oh, Deborah, you should pre-record." I'm not pre-recording anything. I want to be live. I want the people to know that the sermon was worked on the proper way. I don't want them to think that things are changing because everything is virtual. So it's been interesting. It's been different. I went to the church yesterday to do Bible study, and just being in the empty church doing Bible study just feels very uncomfortable.
I bet.
Yeah.
What is the, so this thing will probably end after the election. You think it'll all go away?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I miss my members.
Yeah, I bet. What is the Virtuous Woman?
The Virtuous Woman Inc. is a nonprofit 501c3 that was founded in 2007. In 2007, I had begun to do some work with runaway missing girls. I began to work with the juvenile halls and some of the juvenile courts around becoming a voice for young girls that had either been incarcerated for being a high risk or chronic runaway or victims of human sex trafficking.
And what the word virtuous, what does that mean?
It means, so for us, it means, well, we know it's biblical, so it's in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10 through 31.
What does it say?
I can't recite all 21, but moreover, it speaks of how your moral character and behavior as a female should be viewed from other people watching you. So we teach them, motto for the Virtuous Woman Inc. is to respond, to recover, and to rebuild. So we work very hard with young girls who have become a part of the Department of Children and Family Services and juvenile probation between the ages of 12 to 21 to rebuild their life from severe trauma and victims of human sex trafficking. So these are young girls that have been coerced or manipulated into becoming sex workers as children.
Oh, I see. And you said 18 to 21?
No, 12 to 21.
Oh, really?
12 years old.
And so some of these girls, have they been, are they like locked up somewhere? How are they being used as human trafficking?
Well,
I mean, what do they, how are they being used?
so in the domestic, you have two type of trafficking. You have international trafficking and you have domestic trafficking. So in the state of California, we deal with domestic trafficking, which means that kids are trafficked locally within their own communities, and they're not locked up. They're just unfortunately victims of the environment that they live, work, and worship in every day.
Do they know they are being used for that? They've been trafficking around for sex?
Not in the beginning.
Oh, they don't realize that's what's going on? Amazing. And the word virtuous, does that mean virgin?
No, absolutely not.
I was thinking.
No, it does not mean virgin. I mean, you know, we do talk about purity and celibacy once the girls are actually in the program. Right now, I have a 12-bed facility where we offer 24-hour residential care and therapeutic services on site to these
good.
kids. Yeah.
So they
we
can live
encourage
there?
them. Yeah, that they live there.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's nice. What's the key cause of the trauma? What type of trauma are they going through?
Well, there's a lot of different areas of trauma, Jesse, that they struggle with. Many of the girls that we deal with, it really has started from their families.
Yeah.
Many of them struggle with substance abuse in the home, physical and mental abuse in the home. Mostly all the, and boys are included in this as well, but I only work with girls.
Right.
But many of my girls have been sexually assaulted, raped, molested by family members for years. And then when they became a certain age, like 9, 10, 11, they began to, you know, speak out, or they began to act out. And then when they act out, the parents don't really deal with it, and then they begin to run away. So there's a lot of different things that go on. And then even I have one young lady that is housed with me now, and she just turned 13, and her mom left her and her baby brother in a hotel when she was 6 and he was 3. So for a week, she was in the motel with her little brother, not knowing that the mom, you know, waiting for the mom to come back. And from 6 years old up until she was actually put in the system, like 7 months later, she was taking care of her 3-year-old brother. And that introduced her into trafficking because she was on the street with her little brother. So of course, when people take you in,
Yeah.
they're manipulating you, they're abusing you, and different things like that. So she's learned the streets at 6 years old.
Are these all races or just
Absolutely,
blacks?
all
you
races.
deal with all races?
Right now, I have a combination of Latino, African American, and Caucasian girls that I house right now.
So do you deal with them spiritually or physically?
Both.
Both? Amazing. That's good. How did you become a pastor? Did you have to go to school to be a pastor?
Yes, so I went to several schools, Bible colleges, but I wasn't going to be a pastor. I don't know if people, I don't know.
So you were going to pastor school, but not to be a pastor?
I was going to Bible college because it was just a desire of mine to be well read in the Word of God. It was personal. I always have desire to know about the prophetic gifts, about, you know, theology and the background and
Oh, I
the roots
see.
of the Bible. But through that, I just started developing into ministry. So I've been in ministry for 17 years, and I was appointed to be a pastor a year and a half ago. When the appointment first came, I refused it.
So you were appointed to be a pastor by another church?
By another pastor.
They're like, hey, come over here, Deborah. I want you to be a preacher.
I want you to be the pastor, yes.
Really? Is it weird being a lady and being a pastor?
Absolutely. It's weird being a female minister,
Yeah.
and being a pastor can be even more challenging.
I bet. So you weren't called by God to do it. You just went to school.
No, I feel I was called by God to be a study of the word. I think that ministry calls you. You don't call yourself to ministry. My ministry, I tell people all the time when they ask me how I got into ministry, it was more organic. You can understand, Jesse, you seem like a person where people like just tell you all their stuff and you don't ask. So for years, people will always come to me when they were having problems with their kids,
Right.
or if they needed advice on business or needed advice on this, and it just really developed into a ministry. So
Oh, I see.
years ago, even before I became licensed, I used to have small groups at my house and different things like that. Then we started having Bible study together, and it just developed from there.
Oh, I got you. Where did this idea come from where women think that God called them? Because there are a lot of women now, especially black women, who are pastors and bishops and manly
Why?
stuff.
I don't know why they.
Where they get this idea that God would call them to be the head of a church?
You know, I have had a lot of different conversations about that. For me, I think that it is what you feel spiritually that is happening in your life. For me, I never wanted to pastor, and I could just be very transparent. If my members were here, they would tell you every
Right.
other Sunday, I tell them I don't want to pastor anymore.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
right.
I'm like, I don't want to be a pastor. And I think that people that feel that they are called, if that's what you feel, I don't try to judge you or take that away from you. But I think that a female pastor running a church needs to have a husband or have a male pastor. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm a single woman and a single pastor, so that makes my personal life even that much more harder.
I bet.
So I don't know why anybody would just, you know.
Have you told other women that God don't call women to preach?
No, because to be honest with you, most of the majority of my friends are female pastors, but
What
they're all married.
Really?
It's like myself and maybe two other of us that are single. All the rest of them are married.
They are weak husbands, huh?
No, their husbands are pastor with them.
But a real man wouldn't let his wife be a pastor
Why?
because it's not the order of God.
I think it's the changing of the times where people are allowing the gifts of females to be used more in the church. I'm a part of a organization called the Greater Church of Deliverance. It's a network of a whole bunch of churches that come together. And one thing that the founder, Bishop is doing, Bishop Marshall, is he's putting a lot of the women ministers in the forefront of the.
What the?
Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
You have to ask him.
Ask that man what's wrong with him.
You have to ask him.
So he's putting the women to lead the men?
No, to lead a lot of the different ministries of the
Like
group.
different departments in the church.
And
But
he's making some bishops. I hope they don't want to make me a bishop.
Is
I
he
don't want to be a
black?
bishop.
he black? He black.
Yeah.
And so, so you're not married?
No.
Any children?
Yes.
Really?
From my divorce marriage, yes.
Oh, you've been married before.
17 years.
What happened?
We just grew apart.
You were too tough to deal with?
No. He's older than me.
No. You weren't too tough to deal with?
No.
So your husband knew how to deal with you? Your ex?
Yeah.
So why you guys not still together then?
We grew apart.
What does that mean?
He's older than me. I was young.
He's supposed to be older than you.
He's much more older than me.
Like way older than you?
Well, he's almost 70. I'm 50.
Oh.
So we were, I was 20-something. He was 40-something.
Yeah, so
We just grew apart.
why'd you get involved with such an old man?
He lied about his age.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Amazing.
He didn't look older.
How many kids you have?
3.
And so are they close to him?
Daddy's
Nice.
kids.
Right on.
Yeah.
That is
32, 29, and 25.
nice. What do you think about this whole Black Lives Matter stuff that's going on right now?
Well, for me, I think all lives matter. I do support Black Lives Matter, but some of the stuff that they do, I don't necessarily agree with, not that I support it, but I think that we have enough division going on in the world as a whole.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we put too much energy on one particular race, it brings more negativity to what is already going on. Absolutely, I agree with the law enforcement should not, be just so easy to pull the trigger on males and females and different things like that. But we also have to, it's kind of almost like having a conversation about the gay community to me, because other races are being killed as well in the same way, but because they're other races, it's dealt with differently. Because I am, with the work that I deal with law enforcement a lot.
Yeah.
So I know that there are other races like Latinos and some Caucasians, depending on what area they live in, are going through a lot of the same exact thing that blacks are going through.
Yep.
So I really try not to get in the Black Lives Matter conversation because I am black, but we need to govern a little more around law enforcement. I am close with a lot of the LAPD higher level ranking officers that come out of the corporate office with Chief McDonald, and I have been a part of a lot of the law enforcement's conversations around how to redirect law enforcement within the city of Los Angeles around our urban communities.
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat black radical lesbians, right? Who?
You something else, Jesse.
What do you mean?
And your point. And your point.
They are Marxist. They hate God. They hate the family,
right.
nuclear family. They
Yeah.
hate everything that's good.
Right.
Are you surprised to see anyone follow lesbians? I never thought that I would see American follow fat black radical lesbian. Are things that bad?
You gonna get it. So
What do you mean?
I think that
How am I gonna get it?
you funny. I think that the LGBTQ community has just become a little more exposed because we have to understand that anytime money is put behind any type of industry,
Yeah.
it now becomes acceptable.
Yeah.
So when you have what's his name, that was married to the Kardashian woman, he decides he wants to be
Oh, that Bruce Jenner man?
Bruce Jenner. When these things start happening, now it
Absolutely.
becomes more acceptable. When every time we turn on the television, you cannot watch a regular show without a gay scene.
I
When
know.
we're looking at commercials, you have two men walking dogs together, holding hands. So I don't think that they necessarily are following them because they're gay. I think that the community has become so accepted that people just accepted it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I was watching a little show on Oprah's network one day called,
She got some interesting ones.
no, what's wrong with Oprah? It's called The How to Have Not. You seen that show?
I watch it.
And when one day they had this scene come up where they
With
had
her son,
where they had a black gay
the
guy
son,
having sex
Jeffrey,
with
with the white guy.
with a white guy, and they
The
were
nurse.
having it in the bed like man and woman. He laid up
Absolutely.
there with his legs
Hey,
up,
hey,
and the daddy walked in and caught him.
and I almost threw up.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah.
And then the daddy was
He
upset.
left home with his pajamas on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the daddy said, I don't mind him being gay, but I
just
don't
don't
want to
wanna
see it.
Right. Right.
How come is Oprah a Christian?
I don't, to be honest with you, I could not answer that question. I honestly don't know. Is she spiritual? I believe so, but I've never really seen her confess whether she was Christian. I know that she, has a lot of connections with a lot of different types of faiths.
Yeah.
I know that she's dealt with science of the mind. She does, she's an entrepreneur, so I know she's spiritual, but I
When
don't
you
know
say
if she's
spirit,
clean.
mean like of Satan?
No, I don't think so. I
Well-
think she believes in God.
Do you really?
Yeah.
How can you believe in God and expose that kind of stuff in a public way, knowing that it's not right?
Well, it's almost saying that I can't allow gay people in my church, and I'll be
But you
honest
won't
with
be
you.
going along with it if you.
I won't be going
you
along
want,
with it,
you're
but I have
supposed
to
to let them in your church,
Right.
and you're not supposed to hate anyone
Right.
either.
I have to
Because,
minister to them just as well, but I
Right.
have to be also transparent with you. One of my daughters is gay.
Really?
And she's a stud.
Oh,
And
my.
she was turned out by, she's a celebrity chef, and she was turned out by a chef that trained her. So I still have to love my daughter
don't hate her.
exactly the same. I can't now. Does it bother me like when she comes with girls to the house? At first it did, but now it's like this is what she chooses to do. So I have to love her and whoever she loves in that same manner.
But you still don't agree.
She
She know
knows
that you
I don't
don't
agree.
with it.
Right.
You just don't hate her.
I still
for it.
love her.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't expose it on TV.
No,
like
they can't spend a night in my house
like
or nothing.
right.
No, no, sir. They can't do that. But
That's
they
right.
welcome to come eat and hang out and have fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And see, also, and not to cut you off,
Yeah.
the work that I do with these girls of human sex trafficking, many of them are lesbians,
Of course.
or bisexual,
Yeah.
because of all the
Right,
trauma
all the
and all
stuff
the
they go
pain.
through.
So, you know, I just think that it's an industry that has become acceptable. That's all.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I noticed that evil is running the world now, and good people who are on the side of good
We
are
don't
not
get no
really
play.
speaking
We don't
up.
get no play.
None.
No.
And why don't the children of God speak up and be
I
more
do,
brave?
all the
Well, I
time.
can tell you do. but, but what's wrong with all these men preachers?
I don't know.
And
It's been
and-
an argument of mine too, because it's like y'all not saying nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even hear them with all the looting and burning and destroying and destruction, that robbing and stealing. I don't hear the preachers saying, "No, this is wrong. Cut this out." And when they go after the cop for doing their job, they would defend the criminals over the cops.
Yeah.
Defunded. Are you for defunding the cops?
No.
But
We still need governance.
what? That's right. What happened to the blacks that we used to? I remember when I was growing up, they would correct the criminal over the cop. Now they are correcting the cop over the criminal, all in the name of Jesus. What happened to the
Again,
church?
Jesse, when money is put behind things, things
shall.
change. It's unfortunate, but I stand for what I believe regardless. And I think that the law enforcement should be defunded. No, but what I do believe is that law enforcement should be retrained. I believe that law enforcement, either if they've been on the force for so many years or coming new to the force, that they should have a mental assessment, that we should be clear on how they think before we put them into those patrol cars or on those bikes or whatever. So I feel that if we had no law enforcement, the communities would go crazy.
It'd be over.
Yeah.
Why don't they just teach the blacks how to be decent people again? When I was growing up, I've never ran from a cop or been arrested, but I wouldn't have thought of running from the cop when he tried to stop me. I would have stopped and followed the instructions. Or even if I had a criminal record, these people who are getting killed or hurt by cops, they are criminals,
They have a
they're drug
past.
addicts. But they're not being corrected. Why are they taught you don't run from the cops?
So let's just take a little revisit of this, because these are conversations I've had in the past before.
Yeah.
And we have to look at the industry world, the music industry, the movie industry, all these movies that we can't vote on not to be released or not to be reduced. So when we look at a Boys in the Hood or My Brother or these different movies, Fallen Star and all these movies that come out, this is what is written and depicted. So when we as African Americans or Latinos, and we're going to the movie theaters or we're sitting in our homes every day watching TV, we're watching these things actually happen. So now we're picking up these behaviors that we're seeing, F the police, forget the police,
Yeah.
run from the police. Oh, I'm gonna live like, I'm gonna set up a trap house over here, I'm gonna have a dope house over there. And so these are things that are a part of the environment, part of, we call it generational curses, where my mama's son did it, my uncle did it, my daddy did it, big mama did it, my auntie did it, so now we're gonna do it. It goes along with the same thing of low income housing and families living on, DCFS money and public service money. Why? When you can go get a job.
Yeah.
It's
That's
no
right.
reason that you're doing the same thing. You're living in the same house that all your family lived in without a job. So I think it becomes like a generational thing. And we as you were saying, we as the leaders, we as men and women of God should be able to have different opportunities within our church. We're like, hey, bring your family. Let's teach you how to do things different. Let's give you, some
Right.
type of job training and different things like that. So I just think that enough of us are not out there doing enough of the work that we're just turning a dead eye to what we see every day.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
also, we black people that were raised differently, we move out of the hood. We
Yeah.
don't stay in the hood.
Yeah.
So we say, oh, I got my new job, I got my business, I'm driving my Mercedes, I'm gonna go live on top of the hill with the other people. So a lot of that is also we have to be accountable for, because even if we decide to move up the hill, I still come down the hill to deal with
Right.
these girls.
Yeah.
So if we have more of that, then we will probably see some change.
Or if we had the family, if men and women got married, they live right before their children and guided them, we wouldn't have this happening either.
Yeah, that's true. But you also have to look at the men and women that are married on paper, but are not married in front of their children.
Right, they're not living right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's just a lot of different dynamics that we could look at.
It's a mess.
It is.
What do you think about the black mothers who are telling their kids while they were growing up, oh, when you go out there, watch out for the cops. The cops are going to kill you. I'm so scared for my baby because the cops going to... Should they be telling their kids that and put that in their mind?
Absolutely not. And I deal with that even with the girls in my own home. Oh, the police. Oh, I can't talk to you, Miss Deborah. Oh, you know a judge. Oh, I can't talk to you. I'm like, you would want to talk to me if I know the police and the judge.
Especially the
I can
judge.
help you.
Yeah.
So I think, again, these are just generational things, as the kids are growing up because of whatever trauma that family went through. Because you also have to understand, Jesse, in many of our urban communities, there's a 2% chance that the parents or siblings or other family members are incarcerated.
Yeah,
So they're
I'm
going to
hearing that more and
automatically
more.
not want to deal with law enforcement and the courts. And, I have 15-year-old girls that know how to give fake names. How do you know how to give a fake name at 15?
I'm telling you, that is so true. That's amazing.
It's amazing. And you have to redirect them like, no. Tell them, no, I'm going to give them a fake name. I said, so now you got a person going to jail and getting a warrant that don't even know they have one because you're giving somebody else's name and date of birth. Oh, I didn't think about it like that. Well, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we really have to, again, keep giving back and redirecting. It really takes us, like you were saying, the ones that know better. When you know better, you should automatically do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your daughter, the lesbian, how did she become that way?
She was turned out by one of the chefs that she sous chef for when she
And you
she got
didn't
out
know
of
about
culinary.
it? She didn't tell you about it?
She's a beautiful girl, so she was still doing the girly stuff.
Right.
And then when she totally decided she was going to go live with the chef, that's when she started cutting her hair.
Wow.
And I was looking like, why are you changing? Like you. And then that's when she was like, Mom, I didn't want you to be upset because you're a pastor. I said, but you're still my daughter. You could have came to Mom and talked to me about it.
Yeah.
And I started noticing like the older lady was the girl, but my daughter was coming like more on the aggressor side.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How did her father deal with that when he found out?
Fine.
Oh, he
They're
did?
all still close. She still cooks for him and everything. She's a chef. She goes and cooks and she does all our family events, everything.
So do you believe that black people are cursed?
No.
But they're always, not all of course, not all, but they're always on the totem pole.
Always.
Is that a curse or a blessing?
I think it goes back to, I don't want to call it a curse or a blessing. I think it's a generational behavior from slavery. And I think that it's something that was learned.
But how could it be from slavery? I grew up under the Jim Crow law
Okay.
in Alabama on a plantation.
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
I used to pick cotton. You ever pick cotton?
No, sir.
You have not lived.
I don't want to pick cotton, Jesse. You
You
see
ever
these
had a-
nails?
Huh?
These nails can't pick cotton.
Oh, you too precious. You try to be like a white woman.
No,
You got a piece of cotton.
No.
But during the Jim Crow law, black people were decent.
Right.
They got married. Sometimes if a woman got pregnant out of wedlock, she'll have to go in hiding.
Correct.
Black people owned businesses and did
Absolutely.
well. So if it's from slavery, why did it
Well,
not
you're talking about a
affect
curse.
us after slavery?
Well, no, you asked, do I feel black people are cursed?
Right.
So I'm saying I don't feel that. I think that the behaviors that we experience were generated from generationally of our ancestors who were enslaved. So even when we look at like certain ways we eat, I'm from the country. I didn't change my eating habits until I got older and started being around different people.
Yeah.
I grew up on hog maws
Yeah.
and pig's feed and collard greens with ham hocks, and now I wouldn't eat it at all because
you're
I'm like,
making
my
me
grandmother was
hungry.
trying to kill me.
You're making me hungry.
Hot water cornbread
right.
and cracklings.
Do you know how to cook all that
I
stuff?
know how to cook everything,
Oh,
yes,
good.
sir. Yeah.
Well, at least
I
you know
can
how to
cook
cook it, even though
I
you
can
don't
cook
eat it.
I can bake, I can cook, I can do all that. But it's a lifestyle. So I think, again, it's something that we learned. It's a learned behavior. It's a learned. So people are going to treat you based on what energy you're giving off, period. Because
But
it
it seems
doesn't make sense that some African Americans are treated different than others.
But it seemed to be a lack of care. Well, not seem to be. It's a lack of moral character.
Right.
I notice that most black people today don't believe in God.
A lot don't.
They don't, even though they may go to church and hoop and holler, they don't have the moral values that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Did that value disappear because of slavery?
No.
Or did it disappear because of the destruction of the family?
No, I think that when anyone has too many different opportunities to explore, that it changes their beliefs. I have some friends that are Buddhists. I'm like, why? Can you tell me about it? They can't.
I know, because the
I have
Buddhist
some
guy
friends-
just some fat guy sitting up there doing nothing.
And you give them fruit and
You
money
give-
and stuff.
food and
And
money.
then I have some friends that chant, and I'm like, well, what does that do for you? Oh, it's meditation, but what are you getting from it?
Right.
And then I have some friends that are atheists, and I'm a pastor, and I always tell people, let me explain something to you. You can't tell me you don't believe in God, because you have to believe not to believe.
Yeah.
You have to
believe in
believe
something.
in, right.
Yeah.
So I just think we have too many choices and options. That's what I think.
I noticed that, one other thing about that, I noticed that black men today, not all, black men act like women.
A lot do.
And not that they're gay per
Yeah.
se, but
They call it metrosexual.
They have the mindset and emotions of a woman. They're angry, they're
Emotional,
overreactionary. they're
bipolar.
Yeah, what happened to them?
The ones I know like that, because I know some,
I can imagine.
have very traumatic childhoods with their mom.
Yeah.
It came from a lot of mommy issues,
Yeah.
abandonment, or some moms were drug users, severe drug users. I have some friends that are, 58, 59 that still cannot relate in a relationship because of things that they saw their mom do.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily their dad, because literally both of these male friends are close to their dad.
Yeah.
But the mom, the disadvantage of what they went through with their mother sent them into like an emotional tailspin.
Yeah. Do you tell them how to get over that?
Some listen, some don't.
Oh.
So the ones that will listen, of course, you can talk to, but some are just so set in, this is how I'm going to be. It's like, what do you do?
What do you tell them to do to get over it?
I just tell them to reconnect with their faith. And I'm one of those people I really like to inspire. So even male or female, I'm always sending like a song or, some type of scriptures, or when I'm talking to them, I always am very encouraging and inspiring, reminding them of their gifts, who they are, to aspire towards goals, to change the way they used to be and try to do something different. And when you do that, you can see a difference happening in your life. We know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So
That's
you got to
for
do
sure.
something different.
Yeah. Have you been born again?
I was baptized when I was 7, if that's what
okay.
you mean.
So you're a Christian, right?
I am a Christian
And-
believer.
And how did you become a believer? A Christian believer?
My family's from, we were born in Little Rock, Arkansas, but our family is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Mississippi, and my father's side is American Indian, born and raised on reservations in
Everybody got a
Oklahoma
little
City.
Indian in them,
Well, my
right?
father's full-blood Indian.
I got Indian too.
Yeah, my father's full-blood
You're not the only
Indian.
one with the Indian blood.
Yeah. So my father was born and raised in the TP, but
He
nevertheless,
was?
yeah,
Amazing.
on reservation. Before they put houses there, he lived in the TP.
Wow.
I think that culturally, I was raised with Christian faith. So it started with my grandparents and with my mom. My mom was a missionary, a mother, mother in the church. She was on the missionary board. My mom was an Eastern Star. My grandmother was an Eastern Star. My grandfather was a Mason. They all grew up under Christian faith. So I think just, listening to the gospel music, going to church as a child geared me into a deep-rooted Christian faith.
So you grew up being a Christian who believed in God.
Right.
Amazing.
Believed in Jesus.
Do you still sin?
I try not to. I haven't in a while, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I've gotten so good at not sinning. It's unfortunate. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I be wanting to, but I just
What do
don't.
you be wanting to do at times?
Just like hang out or go to the club, cuss, something fun.
And you do none of those things?
No.
But you want to?
Sometimes.
So you don't sin then?
No, I don't say that because my thoughts could be a sin. So I
What
can't
type
say
of
I don't sin.
What type of sinful thought you have?
Sometimes I have sinful thoughts.
Meaning what?
I'm single. I be wanting to see a dude.
You be wanting to have sex?
Yeah.
What the? And so it comes on your mind?
Yeah.
And what do you do about it?
Nothing. Just go to sleep.
Just go to sleep. How long you gonna last that long? So you got
It's
a long
been-
time to live.
It's been 8 years so far.
You haven't had sex in 8 years? What's that like?
You just get used to it. It doesn't and then I stay busy, so it keeps me together.
So sometimes you can be walking down the road, you see this man.
No,
and
be
you
walk-
be like,
no, I don't do that.
You be like, Lord.
No, I haven't
have
seen one yet.
mercy, I like that.
I haven't seen one yet.
You don't?
I'm looking. I haven't seen one yet, Jesse. You know what?
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there.
I haven't seen one yet. Not my type. I'm real picky.
So you don't get with your ex sometimes?
No, he's an ex. No, sir.
What's wrong with
He
that?
got a girlfriend.
Oh, you died? Oh, I see.
But even if he didn't, I wouldn't.
Why not?
It's over.
So you're not turned on at all by him?
Not at all.
He too old for you?
No, he don't look old, but it's over.
So if you were home one night and he came by
He's not gonna come by.
and y'all had some wine
He don't drink.
and you look over there,
No,
maybe.
not gonna happen.
It won't happen.
Bad divorce,
Oh, it was bad?
Yeah.
Meaning what?
just bad.
Are you Democrat or Republican?
I choose not to disclose.
You want to get close?
Yeah.
What's your impression of Camilla Harris?
I know her personally through my mentor.
Oh, you know her? And what's your impression of her?
I choose not to disclose. This Jesse is a mess.
Do like this if I'm right, and like this if I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna do nothing but drink this water right here.
I see her as an evil, empty shell. Am I wrong? Do this or that? Am I wrong?
You do understand I'm a pastor,
Yeah.
and that legally I cannot have a political conversation with you.
Oh, you're not supporting anyone. You're not pushing someone.
Yeah, I'm not supporting, pushing, or disclosing.
Oh, okay. You do vote, right?
Yes,
You do vote.
absolutely.
Are you voting up or down?
Did y'all put some tequila in my cup, please?
You're not telling who you're voting for. You don't know what up or down mean, right?
I know what up and down mean.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. And so you can't say if you voted up or down? No. But you're not, you allow as a minister to talk about
To
that's-
speak
but you
my-
can't in your church,
Right.
you're not
I
allowed
can't
to
push-
promote someone.
Right, right.
And so if you told
So,
me,
so are you asking me personally?
yes, personally,
I vote up.
you vote up.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I always have voted up.
Oh, you already have?
Mm-hmm.
So you grew up that way?
No.
How did you become an upper?
When I opened my first business at 21.
That'll do it. That would absolutely do it. What would happen if your church knew you voted up?
They know.
They know?
Mm-hmm.
What do they think about that?
I don't discuss it with them.
Yeah, good. That's amazing. So
My friends laugh at me all the time.
I bet.
They be like, oh, God, you got letters from that person? I'll be like, hey, that's my preference.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I can imagine just knowing that then that you agree with me that this woman Camilla is an empty shell. Personally, not voting wise.
I wouldn't vote for her.
You would not? And why not?
I just wouldn't.
Yeah. Amazing. I understand the rest. We black, so we know how to communicate just through the skin color.
And I mean, if my mentor heard me and saw me, he'd probably be mad, but he knows how I feel, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, black people voted up. That only changed with the civil rights movement when they went down.
When they went down.
Yeah, we got.
I have arguments over it all the time because I always say to people, do you know what that Democrat means?
Yeah.
Do you know what the word is? A Greek word. Do you know what it means? And they'd be like, no, I said it means rule over people. So you should know what you're assigning up for before you just call yourself something. You should know what it means. And
That's right.
they said, well, what does Republican mean? I said, for people.
Yes.
So you
That's
have to
deep.
know what you're doing. You have to know why you're doing it. You can't just, be doing it because that's what everybody else around you is doing.
Most black people don't read, though. They don't find out for themselves. I know I used to be a Democrat, but when God changed my heart, I couldn't vote for the Democratic Party anymore. So I read the platform of the Republican Party, and you're right about what you said. And I read the platform of the Democratic Party, and I had to go back
All
and ask God.
reform.
I'm like,
It's
God,
all reform.
Yeah. I'm
And
like,
they
God,
don't know that.
I'm like, God, forgive me. I had no idea. You know what I mean? And
I
he
think
said,
it's all
right.
taught. It's all generational. It
Yeah.
still goes back to generational things.
Yes. I call the president the Great White Hope.
No.
That's my name for him.
Okay.
He's a Great White Hope.
Okay.
He's not afraid. It doesn't matter
He's
what
not
color
afraid.
you are.
He's a bully.
Man or female, male or female.
He don't care.
He'll tell you the truth, whether you like
Well,
it or
I
not.
don't know if it's the truth, but
He'll speak up to you.
yeah.
And I like that. That's the way people should be.
I like the party. I don't know how I feel about the president.
You love him. We'll talk when the camera goes out. I know you love him. Because you like real men, so I know you love this one.
Is he real?
You know you're real,
He's so funny.
right? Did you, so you can't talk about, I wanted to ask you about that. So let me ask, what is a man? Not, other than the body parts, what's a man?
For me, I believe that the male is to lead even when he's not leading. Those are a lot of the conversations that I have with a lot of women that I counsel that are married.
Yeah.
I believe that over the years, and I'm not against women reform. I'm not against, the women or catching up with the men. Like, that's fine but for me, I just want to still be a female with my male. I don't want to rule my male, even if I'm making more money than him. I still want him to be the decision maker. I still want him to feel that he is the man. So I think that a real man or a real male is able to adjust even when it's not in his favor, and he can still stand up and be the male in the position of whatever it is, whether it's a business or a marriage, a relationship, and then be the one to not be as emotional. What I notice now is a lot of men are very emotional when it comes to decision making and different things like that, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a friend the other day, and she was like, oh, yeah, I just met this guy, and he called me the other day, and he was like, oh, his car was down. Could he use my car to work? I said, that's not a man.
That's right.
I said, because a real man going to figure out how to get there without your car. He gonna figure out if he gotta take the bus, ride a bike, you know, take an Uber, fix the car himself.
Yep.
She was like, "Oh, Reverend Deborah, I didn't think about that." I said, "A man's gonna handle his business,
That's
regardless.
right.
He's gonna lead regardless.
That's amazing. And what is love?
Love is an emotion.
Emotion?
Yeah.
Meaning what?
Period."
An emotion. Love is emotion. So I got to ask you this, and then I got to put you on the hot seat.
Oh, you already did 3 times, but we might as well keep going.
There are a lot of black people who watch my show as well. How can they turn around, stop blaming white people, stop begging, stop all the violence, stop the anger and destruction? How can they turn that around?
They can be more productive. Like we were saying earlier before, it doesn't make sense that some African Americans or blacks are treated different than others. For me, I was always determined to have what I knew I wanted, regardless
Yes.
of my color.
That's right.
I never allowed for people to say, "Oh, you're black, so you can't do that."
That's right.
I was the one that would knock on doors to ask to help my business, even when I knew you would say no. You know, to get in this business, the work that I do is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so you don't see a lot of black people in it, right? And I never took no for an answer. I never gave up, to
That's
the point
right.
that those same white people that were blackballing me, not speaking to me, saying, "Where did this lady come from? Oh, here she comes again," are now like my friends. So I think that when you are determined and people see that you're not going to give up, that you are educated, that you don't come with a hand out, you're
Yeah.
looking for a hand, just for a hand. I don't need a hand out or a hand up. I just need your hand.
Yeah.
If you give me your hand and my hand, then we can figure this out together. And I think that that has a lot to do with it, that you have to really have a plan, and you don't need money to start your plan. You don't have to
That's
ask
right.
for people for money to start your plan.
100%
You should
true.
just get in the game and start working it. And people, I think it's really about earning the respect of who you are as a black person. When people see you coming and know that you're not begging and know that you're going to be about your business,
Yeah.
they're going to respect you.
That makes somebody say, you know, you want your kinfolk around if they begging all the time.
I don't. My people know, don't even call me.
That's right. That's right. So I got to put you on the hot seat.
Okay.
And I need you to answer these questions
Oh, Lord.
as quickly as possible.
Okay, yes or no questions?
Yes. True or false, yes or no.
Okay.
All right.
The hot seat.
True or false, straight white Christian males are the most hated species on this side of heaven.
False?
Do you support Islam?
True.
You do? Should sex be saved for marriage?
I wish no.
No?
I want us to bring back the old covenant.
That's amazing. Yes or no?
He told me to be honest.
That's amazing. And
I want to bring back the old covenant.
you want sex out of wedlock without being married?
Well, if you bring it back to old covenant, once you have sex with the person, you in a relationship with them now.
Amazing. Was Jesus white?
False to me.
Is Cardi B a good role model for women?
No.
Should Trump appoint a pro-life Supreme Court justice?
Yes.
Is the angry black woman stereotype a myth or reality?
For African American women,
Yeah.
myth.
So
I
black
don't think
women
it's
are
a
not
reality
angry?
because all black women are not angry.
Not all, but most.
No, not most of them either.
Let me ask you one quick question I wanted to ask during the discussion there. Is it hard for a man to deal with you? Let's say a man was living with you or married to you, y'all were in a relationship. Are you hard to deal with?
No.
You will obey your husband?
Absolutely. If he's doing it right, yeah.
What do you mean if you're doing it right?
If he's treating me the way, like, I think it's like a blessing and a curse to be a woman that will really allow your husband to be your husband, but still feed into him and give him what he needs to be a better man.
Yeah.
All the men that I have dated in the past before I just went straight celibate was like, Deborah, you're too addicting. You're too powerful for me. I can't deal with you. I'd rather have a woman that's weaker.
Really? Amazing.
So that's why I'm single.
Do you
And I
want,
submit to my man. I cook, clean, do all the good stuff, but a lot of men don't want that.
I
They
bet
like
you
the
do.
drama and
I
the
bet you
foolishness.
do all the good stuff. You want the Old Testament back.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is abortion ever okay?
Well, considering I had an abortion before, I would say yes. Am I for it? It's just kind of weird. It's like an oxymoron. I'm really not. But I think that it's a choice based on that person's situation. I don't think people should use it for birth control.
Right.
But if there's a person that was maybe raped or assaulted, in my case, that was the similar situation. I don't think I would have been able to bore a child with that type of trauma.
Why did you have an abortion?
It was through a relationship that shouldn't have happened.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Were you growing up, like when you were a teenager, were you kind of fast?
No.
You want to
Well, no, not till I turned 18. Before that, I was a good girl.
But you became a fast girl at 18.
I met a drug dealer in my neighborhood. He became my boyfriend, so I used to run around with him every day.
I can see you doing that too. That's amazing.
He turned me out, Jesse.
He did?
Yeah, he was spoiling me,
Wow.
buying me gifts, giving me cars, taking me to fancy restaurants.
And you were loving it, huh?
Loved it. He's the one that introduced me to like upper lifestyle.
Oh, yeah? Where's he now?
He around.
You still see him?
He did 22 years, and when he came out, we reconnected, but we're just friends.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he was my first love.
Should a woman be in politics?
Yes,
Are millennials selfish?
absolutely.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was amazing. Thank you for dealing with the hot seat. And I really appreciate you coming. Tell the folks your website or whatever information you want to give out.
We are in the middle of building the new website. Once it's going live, it will be thevwiinc.org. But I can be reached on Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter under my name, Deborah Manns, DeborahManns. And I always give out my direct cell phone number, which is 310-270-7520, or anyone can email me. It's my first initial last name, D Manns with an S, at thevwiinc.org.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank
you
you,
are
Jesse.
very unique amongst the black women.
I hear that from time to time.
That is for real. Thank you all for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate it. Don't forget to like, follow, share. Sonny, ring the bell for notifications, and also check out our merch. We have some brand new stuff up there. It's amazing. And let me hear from you, all right? Thank you very much. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Next time on The Fallen State.
Why did you pick Jew?
Us being Israelites is not something that we chose to be. It's who we were born as. Our identity was just taken away from us. Then you had some free men like W.E. Du Bois.
But he was a communist. You shouldn't like him. He hated his country. He moved to Africa. He was a loser.
But what country did he hate?
America.
What's wrong with that?
If you are the Jews, you can't hate because you represent God, and God is not of hate.
We celebrate a Passover every year, which is about the death of Egyptian babies. Is that love or hate? But original Jews is an improper context you keep using. And I know you black and slow.
Did they bring you here from Israel, or did they bring you here from Africa?
And the common misnomer is that black people sold black people.
No, it's not. That's true. I know for a fact it's true. Good news. Oh, by the way, Merry Christmas. Good news. A major fan of mine, a family that we've helped, has decided that he's going to do a donation fund. He said that he will match up to $30,000. So I need your help. I need your help. I need you to run to rebuildingdemand.com or call 800-411-BOND and help us match this donation to $30,000 and beyond. We are a nonprofit. We've been around for 30 years. We're helping men and women around the world. We tutor, we counsel, we have an entrepreneur program. I help people on the radio and on the TheFallenState newsletter that we put out 3 times a year. We're doing it. So we have helped you. Now I need your help. And you need to hurry up and do it so we can get it done, all right? I really, really, really appreciate it.